Welcome back, it's me, Lou. I'm here for another action figure unboxing and review. Today from Hasbro, in their Marvel Legends series, we are featuring Marvel, celebrating 85 years, the Hulkbuster. Alright, so I'm a huge fan of the Iron Man Hulkbuster armor. If you go through my YouTube collection of videos, I have a couple of different Hulkbuster action figures that I've reviewed. This one looks like to be, I think, the largest one that Hasbro's done so far in the Marvel Legends series. It's a very comic book inspired design. It's crazy. The box is so large it will not fit underneath my camera. This weighs a ton. It's like the size of like two giant encyclopedia books. That's wild. It's crazy, and I'm so excited to open this up. So what you're seeing here is a very deluxe sized box. Just to give you an idea, here is a standard Marvel Legends figure, and this thing is huge. You know, this I can't describe it. It's such a large box. On the side we have some wonderful illustration. I believe this is the artwork of comic book artist Adi Granov, who's best known for illustrating Iron Man, especially during the early 2000s. On the back, another beautiful illustration by Adi Granov. I think I'm saying that correctly. A specialized suit designed by Tony Stark, the Hulkbuster armor allows him to stand toe-to-toe with the Hulk when needed. Gorgeous, gorgeous artwork. If you've never seen any of his work before, check it out. He did a lot of the promotional artwork for the first Iron Man film, if I remember correctly, and this was years ago. Very detailed and very, I don't want to say lifelike, but it's kind of like a, I don't know, his art style is just very different from everyone else's. There's a lot of value, a lot of tone, and it's just has such a great, like, colorized noir, cinematic kind of scope to it. You know, his work is great. But enough about that. Let's get to the crazy large Hulkbuster figure. I'm kind of at a loss for words. I'm just like, I don't know. Every time I pick up this box, I'm just amazed at how large this thing is and how heavy it is. And yeah, this very, very excited to check this out. For those of you interested, I got this through Amazon. Online here in the United States. I don't know if it's an online exclusive or if this is something you can find in the wild, but yeah, I got this on Amazon. Okay, let's get this guy out. Oh man, this thing is so crazy large. So the one thing you'll notice, it comes with a Tony Stark head, which is cool. He kind of has the armor on his face still. It's very reminiscent of, like, in Return of the Jedi when Darth Vader takes off his mask and he kind of has that lower half of armor around his neck and chin. It kind of reminds me of that look. Very cool image of Tony. You know, his hair is kind of tousled. He has a small smirk on his face, you know, looking kind of a little bit arrogant. You have these two kind of like, I think they're like either exhaust or piston pieces, which attach to the back of the armor, I think. And they might be identical, or maybe not. Here is, I believe, the front chest plate, and then you can see the triangular arc reactor in the front. The inside has some detailing as well. There's kind of like a nice carbon metal texture. And then we have the back piece of armor. Again, same sort of carbon fiber texture that we saw on the chest armor. And here on the back is where you attach the kind of like exhaust pieces. And they're keyed a specific way also. So I believe this one, I can't tell if they have letters on them, you know, indicating which side's left or which side's right. It might not matter, so. Wait, this one's a little bit loose. Let's get on this side. Okay, we got that on. Yeah, this one's a little tighter than the other one. Alright, that they're both on. I might end up gluing these maybe, I don't know. Because this one here is a little bit loose. This one's really, really tight. So yeah, those are kind of like the exhaust on the back plate. There's these giant fists. I might swap out one of the other hands for a fist, because I think if he's going to go toe-to-toe with the Hulk, he needs to be able to bash his head in. So I'm going to go for one fist, maybe. Unfortunately, I did not bring any of the previous Marvel Legends Hulkbuster figures with me to compare this to. But I do have a handful of other Hulkbuster figures that we could look at, you know. But in the past, there was... How many Hulkbusters? I think there was only the one Hulkbuster. It was first a Build-A-Figure, and then they released it later on, I think during the 75th anniversary, as a 2-pack with the Hulk. Okay, the weight of this thing is no joke. This thing is heavy. This is probably one of the heaviest Marvel Legends figures outside of the crowdfunded like Galactus or Sentinel. It's a cinder block, and it's gigantic. It stands in at 9.5 inches. So it's definitely one of the taller Marvel Legends figures. It's crazy big. Here is the chest up close. Nice detail. There's the arc reactor, which is kind of hollowed out, which is interesting. I hope there's not a weird... Just give me a minute. Alright, I was just checking to make sure there wasn't something that deposited inside of here, because the arc reactor, there is a hole here in the cavity. Not really sure if that's... So you can plug... Oh, so you can plug this in right there. Okay. The detailing on this is really nice. Gorgeous texture on the shoulder plating here. The face is really well done. You can see the very narrow slits for lenses. And then there's some silver trim underneath the main faceplate. Beautiful circuitry work around the arc reactor. I'm not very fond of the gold swirly plastic. I kind of felt like maybe they could have at least painted it, because it really looks like plastic, whereas the upper arms, these look kind of like a metallic finish. Some nice silver painting along the circuitry and around the pistons, around the hips. We see more of that gold mesh plating here on the sides. Yeah, this is really, really nicely done. The detailing is great. If my only one complaint is I kind of wish, especially for these Under Armour pieces, like if they highlighted this with silver also. So it kind of gives you more of the impression that this is like what's running underneath the body of the armor. You know, kind of like this is kind of like the engine and motor that like powers this thing up. Like, I love how the silver looks on the underside of the arms. And I think it'd be even better if you could like apply that kind of detailing with silver paint here. Yeah, this looks gorgeous right there. Really fine micro texture too. There's like a very fine texture above the ankle right there. Let's see how it looks like if you can swap the different head. All right, so the head, this pops off easily. You just slide your fingers underneath, pull it out. And yeah, it's crazy how the amount of detail that went into this. Like underneath the helmet, they painted this silver. Again, I really feel like they should have done the same with the back here, because it gives it much more emphasis that when you remove the back plate that, oh, here's the underworkings of the armor. And let's attach the Tony head to it, which I think is going to look kind of funny. All right, so I'm not gonna put this on completely because it does feel like it's a very tight fit. I might have to heat this up because it doesn't want to go in very easily. But this gives you an idea of the look. So that looks great. My dream Hulkbuster armor for the Marvel Legends, I would love it if they finally gave us a full-sized figure where the torso opens up, revealing a chest cavity where you could deposit like a full-sized figure. That's like my dream Hulkbuster. Sideshow, it's either Sideshow or Hot Toys did it for the 12-inch figures. But yeah, I would love it if they did a figure where the Hulkbuster armor actually opens up and you could deposit an Iron Man figure inside of it. For me, that's the dream. Who knows? Maybe they'll do a crowdfunded project for that. And let's get the Hulk head back on. And let's attach the armor pieces. Oh, before we attach the armor pieces, let's take a look at the articulation first. So the head does swivel. The arms rotate upward. And it's nice because it seems like the shoulder pieces here don't like provide that much resistance, because it seems like they're a separate piece that's articulated as well. So it's really cool that they thought of that. The arms could go outward. A bicep cut. Single pinned elbows with is there a swivel? If there's a swivel, I don't want to force it because I feel like I'm being met with some resistance here. Articulated wrists. There is a diaphragm cut, and this one, yeah, okay, I had to loosen it up a little. It'll rotate like this just fine, but then if I want to crunch it forward, it feels like it gets stuck. So I might have to loosen it up a little, but I don't want to get it too loose where it becomes too floppy. There is a waist swivel, I think. Yeah, there's a waist swivel right there. Legs kick up, and this one feels really tight. I don't want to kick it up and accidentally break it. There is a swivel here. The knees bend. Okay, so I think my one gripe is that this figure feels so heavy, and everything's just really tight on my figure. And I don't want to say it feels fragile, but I don't want to like feel like I'm gonna force something and have something snap off. You know, this isn't like your average $20 figure, so I'm just gonna handle this with a little bit more care. Unfortunately, he does have ankle articulation, but I think it would have been cool if they at least articulated the toes as well, because, you know, if you want to get him in somewhat dynamic poses, I think it'd be necessary to have his toe be articulated, but that's not the case. And it's a heavy figure. It'll stand on its own, but I think the kind of poses you'll be able to get with it are going to be very static. And let's get the chest armor on. There's the front, and then here's the back. And they do connect underneath the arm right there. And this completes the look. Fantastic looking figure. It's a beast. It's heavy. And of course, it's the Hulkbuster, so let's bring out some Hulks. All right, so we have the Red Hulk here, and then we have the Gray Hulk. So this gives you an idea of the size comparison. It completely towers over the Hulk. So, You know, if Tony Stark wants to go toe to toe with the Hulk, he could like give the Hulk a run for his money. It's gigantic. It's huge. It's a beast of a figure. And let's bring out some other Hulkbuster figures. All right, first up, this is a repainted Hulkbuster figure from the smaller 2-inch scale action figures that were released years ago, I think during Age of Ultron. And if you ask me why it's painted like this, it's because this is a custom Transformers figure. If you're a comic book reader and a fan of the Transformer comics published by IDW, I think it was More Than Meets the Eye and Lost Light. There was a Transformers robot, and it kind of reminded me of the Hulkbuster, so I kind of painted it up to look like that Transformers character. This is probably one of my favorite Hulkbuster figures ever. This is the Avengers Mech Strike Hulkbuster. Came out toward the start of the pandemic, so we're looking at 2020. A great line of budget action figures. They were slightly smaller than the Marvel Legends, but the best thing about this figure is that this dude actually opens up and you can put in a full-sized Iron Man figure. So that's what I really hope Hasbro does in the future, that they give us a full-size Marvel Legends where you can put in Iron Man. And yeah, I love this figure a lot. It's a budget figure, and it's really aimed at kids, and the design's a little bit more on the cartoony side, but just the fact that you can put a figure inside of it, for me, is awesome. And it's the Hulkbuster, and it still scales with Marvel Legends pretty well. Here is another Hulkbuster. This is also from the Avengers Mech Strike line, but this is Avengers Mech Strike Monster Hunters. So instead of battling your standard villains, they're battling monsterized version of the villains. A very red figure, as you can see here, and this has some fun play features. You pull the lever on the back, and then exposes his missile pods, and then the crazy monster eye that winks at you. So this is really neat. I love this thing too. Unfortunately, they got rid of the gimmick where you could put the figure inside of it, but the design is nice. And then we have the Titan Heroes 12-inch Hulkbuster. This one's great. Probably my favorite Hulkbuster design. The only thing is, this was a budget figure, and it's the profile, when you view it from the side, it's very thin. But it's tall, it's beefy, and it looks nice. And if you're a customizer, this is great for doing a custom paint job, because as you can see, the paint is very minimal. So this thing could easily be detailed with more paint application. And lastly, we have this, another Titan Heroes 12-inch Hulkbuster. This was from Infinity War. This is a beast of a figure. So yeah, there's a lot of Hulkbusters, and as you can see, I'm a very big Iron Man and Hulkbuster fan. Oh, one more Iron Man figure. This isn't a Hulkbuster, but it's one of my favorite Iron Man figures. This is the Diamond / Marvel Select Ultimate Iron Man. It's my favorite Iron Man costume design. It's awesome. I love this thing so much. All right, so that's a lot of Iron Man for today. A lot of Hulkbusters. Great figure. If you're a fan of Iron Man and the Hulkbuster armor, this is a must purchase. It's great. It's gorgeous. And it makes me hopeful for the future, because I'm sure we'll get more Hulkbusters down the road. All right, with that being said, let's wrap this one up. Once again, my name is Lou. If you're new to my channel, welcome. If you are a returning viewer or subscriber, thank you so much for your continued support. I greatly appreciate it. So until the next video, be safe, take care of yourself, buy lots of toys, and most importantly, be happy. And I'll see you at the next one. All right, later.